everyone. Good evening once again. It is such an honor to welcome you to this fireside chat with Honourable Seyi Adisa. Just in case you're joining us just now, this is the 7,000 Conference, the government edition. And we're going to be talking about running, winning, and serving with integrity as a public servant. Honourable Adisa, as I said that, I just thought running, that in itself is a big deal for a lot of people.
That's true.
In Nigeria, it's almost a proverb to say that politics is dirty. And I don't want to mess my record up, or I don't want to get dirty. I can't play that game. So before we even go into the winning and serving, running is, there are notions about running. What got you there? How did you beat that myth of it's dirty? What motivated you? And, tell us that story.
All right, so thank you very much. I also want to thank the organizers for having me. So my journey into politics started when I was about 13. I was in GS3 going to SS1, and I wanted to pick whether sciences or arts. I had thought about medicine and a few other things, but then I realized I don't like drugs, I don't like blood. And I remember very clearly asking God, what am I supposed to do? And at that time, I had this conviction in my spirit. You know, one of those things nobody told you. Yeah. I just felt it strongly that I'm supposed to be in governance. Now, that's very strange. I don't have any politicians around me. I don't know any politicians. But it was so strong that I chose art subjects, even though I could have gone for physics and chemistry. I did government, I did literature. When I got to A-levels, I did my A-levels in London, I asked the same question, and politics again. Then I started researching, what do politicians study at university? And I found out that a lot of American presidents at the time studied law. So I cooked up a plan that let me study law for this period. I mean, Bill Clinton, Jefferson, Lincoln, they were all lawyers. So I said, okay, I'll go into law probably till I'm about 50. I'll have made some money, some experience, then I'll go into politics. So that was my plan. So I went to, I did my A-levels, I did university, law degree, did my law school in England, did law school in Nigeria, and started my practice. And when I eventually got appointed as the private secretary, principal private secretary of the former governor of Oyo State, the late Senator Abiola Jimobi, I was appointed to work as an admin officer. So I used to call myself, I'm a professional in politics. I'm not a politician. Even though I understood that, I am here to learn. It was very instructive. God said, you're here to learn. And I remember all through my time, 2011 to 2014, I worked strictly as an admin guy. But when it got to 2014, my boss said, look, you guys are all politicians. You can't work in politics and not, you can't be in governance and not be a politician. So he said, go to your local government, go to the grassroots. And that was how I started my real journey. And that was really my exposure to what is really happening out there. It's easy for us to sit down and talk a lot about what's happening in Nigeria, but until you get to the grassroots. I remember going there, and to get water, some people walk kilometers to get water that you wouldn't give your dog. I saw children walking with nylon bags because they couldn't afford bags. And their uniforms were not uniforms, and sometimes they wear slippers. And it was at that point that I found out that people were dying at the place of giving birth. The average young man will wake up in the morning, sit under the mango tree, drink 1 or 2 bottles of beer, look for a woman to womanize, and that was their daily. And it started to bother me, like, gosh, this cannot be. And that was really what stroked the fire within me. I knew I was called into governance like a ministry, like a call, but it was when I really understood why. Those things were breaking me, like, no, we can't continue like this. And the people I was speaking to, they had this lackluster approach about it. And so in 2018, I decided to come out. And that in itself was something I had prayed about, like, God, is this the time? When I felt led, I asked my boss, obviously, that this was what I wanted to do. I got his permission. And then I went around building a team and, engaging the people, because there's a lot to talk about politics. But I started engaging people. I started reaching out to associations, communities, religious bodies. I started the whole politicking process. And that took me a process of over 1 year to really get to know the people I want to represent, to really understand where it pains them, and to really understand how I would represent them properly. So that was what got me into politics. And to be honest, it's what has kept me there, the need to bring development. I believe that politics is for development. The only reason we should go into politics in Nigeria is to bring development. I don't care what party you go into, you want to see development for the people, because that is the biggest challenge we have. And politics is the biggest platform that should solve the biggest problem. And that's how I see it. And that's what I do every day. I'm an advocate of politics, of development. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm pushing. And this is what I hope to continue to do. And we're starting to raise another generation of politicians that want to follow that same step.
That was, thank you. I mean, you've given me like 5 additional questions with what you've said, but I'll go to something.
Yes.
When you sit with a lot of people,
Yes.
Identifying the problems, empathizing with the problems,
Yes.
you don't lack numbers.
No.
A lot of us understand what's going on.
Yes.
We can empathize with it, but that preparation
Yes.
that you have just detailed to us, that intentionality is missing. And even in certain cases, we've seen people go in and fail
Yes.
because they're probably not prepared. So what are the things that you put in place? So this, you've served in government for over 8 years now.
Over 9 years.
Over 9 years,
Yes.
in different capacities.
That's correct.
And now you're representing the Afijo local government.
That's correct.
In the House of Assembly.
That's correct.
So clearly, apart from your experience on the job, there's also some hard work that you put in to keep winning whatever capacity you're in. So could you just put that on the table now, so that people who are like you empathizing or like you identifying problems can be able to put a blueprint and say, this is how I will do.
Okay, so every time I talk to people interested in politics, the first thing I say is, forget the position. Let's talk about you. You know, the position will only amplify what you have or who you are. So I'm more concerned about the person talking to me that I want to join politics. You see, when the Bible talks about David, he said he served with the integrity of his heart, the skillfulness of his hand and the integrity of his heart. That tells me there are 2 things we need to go into politics, and probably into a lot of things, but into politics. So it talks about the hand, which is a competence thing, and it talks about the heart, which is a compassion, empathy, a human side to things. And so whether you're a banker, you're a journalist, you're a media man, wherever you are, and you have interest in politics, I believe politics is like a ministry. It's a conviction you have to have. You have to have that belief that I am sent to people, because if you don't like people, don't come into politics. Do you understand? Leadership, particularly leading people, is very difficult. Ask Moses. Do you understand? Ask David. Ask the people that have gone before. It is not a joke. And so what I see is that a lot of competent people come, but they don't have the heart. And what happens is they use their competence to maneuver the people. And they get their way over people because their heart is not for the people. And you have people that have the heart, but they are useless competently. And so they are good people, but they can't solve problems. And so before you even talk about positions, I want to know who you are. I need to prepare yourself, because politics, a mechanic, a carpenter, anybody can get into it. There's no real school for politics.
The bar is low.
Do you understand? So it means you're going to play with so many sort of people. So my first thing I say is, please, grow your competence. And that includes your financial intelligence, your mental intelligence, your emotional intelligence, your spiritual intelligence. You want to understand how to manage people, how to deal with people, how to work things out, how to manage resources. All of those things are the things of the hand. But then the thing of the heart, does injustice break your heart? Does underdevelopment affect you? Do you see people and feel this shouldn't be? Because if you don't, maybe you shouldn't go there. I've seen too many leaders that they get there and they couldn't care less about the people. You know, and so you need to prepare your heart. And some people say, how do I prepare my heart? Please go there. See how people are suffering. See what people are going through and know that, look, is either this means something to me and I want to make a change, or it's not enough for me to go there. Because we go there for power, we go there for fame, we go there for wealth, we go there for prestige, and those are all the wrong reasons. We should go there because we want to serve the people. And that's always thrown around, servant leader, this lead. No, it's not about that. It's that they want to send me on errand. They want me to go and do things for them. I am there because of them. If they don't have water, is my problem. If they don't have light, is my problem. If they don't have jobs, is my problem. And so that is what service means. It means that the more these people continue to raise these challenges, I shouldn't sleep. I should continue to look for their solutions, because that's what it's all about. So every time people talk about, this politics thing, if you want to play it easy, no problem. But if you mean business and if you really want to serve, you need to grow your heart and your hand. And those are two things I think people need to be aware of.
Thank you very much, Honourable Seyi Adisa. You couldn't have said it better. But I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
So, people sound the way you sound one morning, and then the next day we're hearing, Mr. Lagbaja has carried 10 billion in Nigeria's pockets. And, what happened? Because there's so many, quote unquote, good people, nice people, full of heart, full of competence as well, very prepared. And yet, they get into the, quote unquote, the bad environment, and they can't do anything. It becomes something else. What happens? I mean, you're in the system.
Yes.
So can you give us an explanation?
Okay. I get that question. I think you need to guard your heart. You see, there's a book I'm writing currently. There are different types of, when you get into politics, you're going to be gathered with, you're going to be in the midst of people that already have a culture, a system of doing things. You are going to try and buckle the trend. So there's already a culture. Welcome to the club. This is how we do it here. So first of all, you need to be prepared that my values, I will not break them. And you should have them before you go. I mean, I have so many stories I could share about the whole political campaign and so on and so forth. But you have to have very strong values. You have to have values you will not cross. I remember when we were running for elections, one of the things that we got was when people said, somebody came to me and said, there's a calabash you have to come and carry at 12 o'clock in the night. So you are going to put it at the intersection. So, that thing will help you. It will help you. People will like you. So I said, calabash. It's not that hard. It's not by force. We don't need any calabash here. What makes me laugh is that after the election, we found out that woman was against us. And it makes me ask, what if we carried the calabash? What if we were desperate for it? Do you understand? And that's the place of compromise. You must have strong values. But another person said, we blow something into the air and people will just fall in love. I told them, don't blow nothing. If God cannot do it, I don't need it. Because if I had done those things, I would have to be going back to them every time to renew the powder or whatever they want to blow. So thank God you won't compromise. And that's the same thing you must have. You must have, because look, you're going to have environmental challenges. People are going to say, look, this is how we do it here. They're going to oppress you. They're going to say so many things. So you need a strong heart. At the same time, there are going to be colleagues that will say, Omo, the bag is ready. Do it and don't talk about this issue. Look away. And you have to make those decisions. And so I think sometimes when I hear those stories, I think those people have worked in a bit, not totally careless, but they were not mindful enough to have understood that the environment I'm going to is not a joke. There are some people, that is how they live. That is their terrain. That is how they make things happen. And so if you're going to try and go against that, you need to be prepared. You need to have your heart ready. I think it's a hard thing. There's some people that shouldn't be in politics. There's some people that it's the environment that changes them. There's some people it's the peer pressure that changes them. And there's some people that despite all those things, they will still stand. So you're going to determine which one of them you want to be. But I think you really need to guard your heart. Otherwise, it's easy, very easy, to be influenced. For me, somebody walked into the office. This was while I was private secretary to the governor, and the person saw a Bible, and the person called me that, "Seyi, this is governor's office. Why do you have your Bible on the table?" I said, "What's wrong with the Bible on the table?" He said, in this sort of place, there are many types of people coming in. I said, that's even the reason they should know the Bible should be here. This is my own power source. This is where I get my own strength from. Do you understand? So we need to have our values and showcase them, because the more you showcase them, the less people will bring some things to you. They say, "He's a pastor, he won't answer you." No, don't mind him. Because that was what they started to say to me after the elections, that the man's a pastor, don't give him any, he won't do it. And that means they've heard the message. Yeah. My values have come forward. They have spoken to the people. And I think it's important that we keep those values, because at the end of the day, temptations will come. Mm-hmm. But if you have agreed to keep those values before they come, then your response is easier.
Yeah. What I hear you saying, that's actually the staying power.
It is, but you see, staying on what? It's staying on your, one of the things I do is that I get a lot of, my value comes from the Bible, Mm-hmm. So, because when you say Bible, it's tangible, it's certain things I will not do in terms of systems I've put to guard myself. Do you understand? Because it's so easy. Look, power is sweet. I've worked in politics for 9 years. I understand power. When you see power, you say, wow, it is beautiful. But if you don't have the system to protect you, I remember, there are times I'm in China, I'm in Dubai, I'm in many countries where I've gone with the governor, and you tend to think you're invincible. Everything must work. But if you have the right system, my wife is also one of my support systems. She resets my button very quickly. Like, "This man, what's wrong with you? Don't bring down one hell." So you need to put people, things around you that will remind you of who you are. You need to have those signposts, those things that will bring you back to who you are. Otherwise, it's very easy to go with the flow, and you have to be very careful.
Okay. Thank you. So at the beginning, I said I had 5 questions from your initial question.
Okay.
But for me, I think that the success of the 7,000 conference would be in getting people to see that if they act on their intention to be part of politics or act to change governance, they will not be alone. Because a lot of people feel that there's no one, right? And hearing you, I know that you are one of many. And our keynote speaker, Dr. Duwale, said something very, very, very pungent. She said, "Who will go?"
Yes.
Who will go? And I think that is the question that a lot of Nigerians are asking today, right? Twitter is filled with politicians, but they are their seats. And then you said that you are working to raise a new generation of politicians who are going to be ready to take the baton from the old. Could you elaborate on the different roles that are open? Because some people, the question they ask is, okay, where? Where can I serve? Do I go as president? Do I go as governor? You were principal secretary, and now you're a member of the legislative house. If I want to go into politics today, if I want to go, where do I go? How do I go?
So that's one of the reasons why I want to thank Dr. Esther Lunge for bringing up this conference, is the fact that the guys there don't want to leave, and they are not planning to leave. They tell you all the things so that you don't come. They would mystify that politics. They told me when I was coming in, they said, this young man, when you come, you're always with security. Here, we don't use guns. We use jars. They told me. So imagine somebody that doesn't have the conviction that this is my ministry, this is what God wants me to do, and I am not here by myself. God sent me. If you hear that, you will think twice. They said, we don't use gun. These people follow you. We don't need it. We just sit in our room and we use things. I said, as you see me, I'm not normal. I've carried some things, I'm not normal. But that comes from a place of conviction. You need to know who you are. So they tell you things so that you don't come there, so that they can continue. So, you know, the women, they call them prostitutes if they want to come into politics, is intentional so that they don't come. You know, they tell all these young people, they are just, it's all part of the talk to keep certain people away. Do you understand? But once you've gone past, you know, your conviction is greater than the fear of starting out. Once you've gone past, you know, all of that, if you like, the cloud that they put there, I think you have to, sorry, I moved past the question.
No, you haven't moved past the question.
I just want you to pull it back, because I was talking about...
So you said that they tell us things so that we stay out.
Yes.
But that we need to move. We need to move beyond just one thing. We need to start identifying.
So how? So the next thing I need people to understand is not everybody is going to run for office.
Yeah.
But everybody can get involved.
Yeah.
I'm tired of people just talking on social media. You can join a party. I heard the earlier fire chat, you know. The honest truth is, join the party. And for me, we don't understand party politics. We think you only join party when you want to run for election. That's not true. If we understand the power of parties, you understand that the party can call his representative and say, look, guy, you are not behaving well. We will deal with you if you don't do the right thing. But that doesn't happen because the elected official is the one paying for a lot of people. But if the party is strong, as I have seen it in Liberia and some other countries I've been to, you understand that the party is important. And so imagine a group of young people decide to join a political party. And they say, we are doctors, so we want to do a free health mission. So they do free health mission in their society, and people say, oh, wow, this party has done very well. And then when they start picking positions, these people start to get into youth leader, women leader. They have started to raise a level of visibility. Not only that, they start making impact. And you know, leadership is about influence. The more impact you make, the more influence you garner. Then all of a sudden they say, Oga, why don't you become our youth leader? Why don't you become our ward chairman? This isn't running.
Even if for the optics.
Do you understand? They've not even got into election. But you are already getting into a place whereby you will be the one starting to decide who gets the ticket. Who is the person that comes out? Because far too long, they just pay some people off and they let anybody run for the office. And the electorate don't have a choice than the people they've put before them. So we need to get into the parties. And that is the part that whether you are a media person, party has PR. Whether you are a health person, party has the ability to do health programs. If you are an educationist, party has power to do education programs. If you ask me what party, I'm not here to promote any party, but look for a party that aligns with your values. And they all look alike, I agree, but you have to start looking for the people within them, what they stand for. So join the party. Become somebody that is making impact. That impact will increase your visibility, it will increase your influence. Then those that are called to run, those that know that this is for me, then they would move forward and run. But I think the first thing is participation. A lot of us don't have voters card. A lot of us, we just complain, this Nigeria, and I hate negative talk. It's part of the problem. People just releasing negativity into the atmosphere. Nigeria will not be good. We need to stop that. Do you understand? People need to say, look, this country is going to get better. I don't know when, but I'm going to be a part of the solution. You understand? I'm going to be a part of the solution. And then even those that are in office, are you holding them to account? Do you even know your representative? Do you go and see them? Do you tell them? Because government doesn't have all the answers. I've worked in government for 10 years. I can tell you for free, government doesn't have all the answers. The solutions are in collaborations. The solutions are in partnerships. Government should partner with the university in terms of research. Government should partner with civil society in terms of advocacy. Government should partner with private sector in terms of bringing businesses out and things that are sustainable. Bureaucrats were not meant to make businesses. So government should not run business. Government should create the environment so that businesses can run. That's what it's supposed to be. But there's nothing wrong with government saying, I have land, you come and build. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's where we need to get to. And I know there are some people, you go to government and they say, oh, what are you bringing for me first? You know, and that's part of the problem. But you need to hold them to account. Hold us, I said them. Hold us to account. Hold us to account. Call us, check us on social media, my Instagram page, I check my Facebook pages. I'm listening. I did jam forms for a few people because I saw it on my page. People were asking me, no money for jam. I would not have thought that was something I needed to do. But when I saw the trend, we did it. Do you understand? Because that's what they are asking me to do. So that's why I think people need to participate, people need to get involved. And, there's something about followership. A lot of, there's this political show I have shared, a political show, and a lot of politicians have brought on, one of the biggest challenges they have is understanding what their people are there for. It's just monetary demands. One of my colleagues said she got 2.4 million naira requests from when she calculated all the requests she got in one day. She got 2.4 million requests. That person is supposed to serve with integrity. Where is he going to get the money from?
You have actually segued, and this is like the final question, and you've segued into the point, because we've talked about the politicians. But I think it's a marriage. In fact, I think it's one union. I was reading through Article 24 of the Nigerian Constitution. And by the way, if you are a real Nigerian, you need to pick up your Constitution and read it, because that is our blueprint. Go away from that. But Article 24 actually lists duties of citizens. And one of those duties is that we are actually supposed to be part of the process of government. That conversation hardly ever happens. It's always a us and them, the politicians and us. And we don't seem to be following. We have no roadmap for following. So as we close, you've already made the point as to, instead of holding people accountable, we are asking for things. What are the things that we as citizens need to start doing between now and the change? To bring that change that we want to see, so I'll tell with our politicians and with our governments.
You see, I tell you a story. I went for a show, not a show. Somebody called me for a program. And, when I finished talking, a lot of hands went up. But there was this young man. The guy was antagonistic. You politicians are thieves. You politicians are criminals. You politicians are this. You politicians... I tried. I said, yes, not everybody. Some people mean well. He said, it's a lie. So I said, what am I going to say to this guy? And he kept asking the question. So eventually, he now said, well, thank God, the last election, I collected my own 2,000 and I left. You have been accusing me? You were the one that, and he said it it makes you ask, the leaders didn't fall from outside this space. So they came from amongst us. Yeah. And I think we need to really change our value system. One of the programs I'm doing is I'm going into schools. And we're going into schools because we want to change the value system. We want to try and change what people see as important. Do honesty, integrity, do these things really still matter to people? Because I don't think, in fact, they tell you that people are afraid that those outside trying to get in are worse than those already in. Yeah. You understand? So I think, it's something that is not just for politicians, because those outside are not all politicians. But I think there's a lot of orientation we need to do in this country. We need to understand our roles. We need to understand, as citizens, we need to understand the roles of your lawmakers. Lawmakers have 3 responsibilities. 3: oversight, representation, and lawmaking. You understand? And those 3 things are what we should be doing. But we do much more than that. Your executive members, they have a different function. People don't know. Honorable is everything because we can catch you. There's a role of the local government. Are they doing their roles? Do they understand? Those even going into those offices, do they understand? I think it's an orientation thing. That orientation will change our attitude, it will change our value system, and it will change both the officers working, the elected officers or appointed officers, and the followership. I think we need all of that to change.
Thank you so much, Honourable Seyi Adisa. I enlist myself at this point. I enlist myself.
We need more people to come into politics.
We're coming.
We are not enough. We are not enough. And my own joy is to actually see the right people. When people say we need more women, I'm not saying come in because you're a woman. Come in because you're bringing something. Or this not too young to run. Bring more young people. It's not because you are young. It's because you have something to offer and you are young. And that must be the conversations we start to have.
All right. Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening. We hope that he has passed the baton. He has ignited a fire inside of you, and you in your own corner are going to begin to do the work of changing Nigeria.